Everything you thought you knew about this weekend storm just changed overnight. And if you live anywhere from Texas to Virginia, what I'm about to show you in the next 60 seconds could literally save your life. The storm system that forecasters were tracking has done something we rarely see. It shifted south, way south. And that means millions of people who thought they were safe are now directly in the path of what could be the most dangerous ice storm in a decade. Here's what happened while you were sleeping. The entire forecast model shifted between 100 and 200 miles further south. That pink line you are seeing on weather maps, that's not just a little freezing rain. We are talking about ice accumulation that could reach 3/4 of an inch to a full inch in some areas. To put that in perspective, anything over a 1/4 inch is considered damaging. What we re-looking at could be crippling. But here's the question nobody is asking yet. Why is this storm so much more dangerous than a typical winter system? I'll reveal that at the 3-minute 20-second mark, and trust me, once you understand this, you will see why meteorologists are using words like dangerous situation and long duration event. First, let me show you exactly where this is heading, and drop a comment right now with your city and state. I want to make sure you get a personalized forecast for your exact location, because this storm is not treating everyone the same. The timeline starts Friday evening. That S when temperatures begin to crash across Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. We're not talking about a gentle cool down. Wind chills will drop to -40, -50 degrees Fahrenheit across the northern tier. That as the kind of cold that causes frostbite in minutes. Now here's the first twist. While that Arctic air is plunging south, moisture is streaming in from the Gulf of Mexico. When these two air masses collide, that S when things get really interesting. And by interesting, I mean potentially catastrophic for infrastructure. Let me paint you a picture of Saturday morning. You wake up, and if you in northern Texas, southern Oklahoma, or Arkansas, you might hear something you don't usually hear. That sound of sleet hitting your windows. By noon, it transitions to freezing rain. And this is where it gets critical. Freezing rain is not like snow. Snow you can drive on carefully. Snow removal crews can handle. Freezing rain creates a glaze of ice on every single surface. Power lines, tree branches, roads. And here's the part that should concern everyone in the impact zone. The South doesn't have the infrastructure to deal with this. How many salt trucks does your county have? If you are in Louisiana or Mississippi or Alabama, the answer is probably very few, if any. That means once that ice forms, it stays there until it melts naturally. And with the temperatures coming behind this storm, that could take days. But wait, there's more to this story. The ice is only the first problem. At the 30-second mark, I promised you something important. Here it is. This storm has a secondary impact that's going to affect you even if you don't get a single drop of freezing rain. After the precipitation moves through, temperatures are going to plummet and stay down. We're talking about wind chills in the single digits across the deep south. Places like northern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, they are going to feel temperatures they haven't experienced in years. Your pipes could freeze. Your heating system is going to work overtime. If you lose power, and there's a very real chance of that, you need to have a backup plan right now, not Saturday, right now. Let me show you the models, because every single forecast model, the GFS, the European model, the Canadian model, they were all showing the same thing. This is not a case where we have uncertainty about whether this will happen. The only question is exactly where that line between heavy snow and freezing rain sets up. The European model is showing widespread 6 inches to a foot of snow across a huge swath. From Kansas and Missouri down through Arkansas, then pivoting toward Tennessee, Kentucky, and the mid-Atlantic states. Virginia, West Virginia, the Delmarva Peninsula, you re-looking at potential for 1 to 2 feet of snow. But here's the kicker. And this is that revelation I promised you at 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Why is this so dangerous? In the South, you don't have experience driving in these conditions. Your vehicles don't have snow tires. You probably don't have a snow shovel in your garage. You've never had to think about whether your roof can handle the weight of heavy, wet snow combined with ice. And most critically, your power grid isn't designed for this kind of sustained stress. When ice accumulates on power lines and tree branches to the tune of ½ an inch or more, things start to break. Tree limbs snap, power lines come down, transformers fail. We could be looking at power outages that last for days, not hours. The models are showing this with remarkable consistency. The national blend of models, which takes all the major forecasting systems and averages them together, shows a massive area of impact. We're talking about an area from Texas to the Carolinas, from the Gulf Coast north to the Ohio Valley. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. When was the last time you went 3 days without power in the middle of winter? Have you ever done that? Do you have supplies ready? Here's your homework assignment, and I need you to do this today, not tomorrow. Make a list. Food that doesn't require cooking, batteries, flashlights. If you have a generator, test it right now. Make sure it runs. Get fuel for it. If you don't have a generator, consider getting one. But if that's not possible, figure out where you can go if your power goes out for an extended period. Water is another concern. If your power goes out, your well pump one to work if you have well water. City water might be fine, but fill some containers just in case. A bathtub full of water gives you flushing capability if nothing else. Let me walk you through the exact timeline, hour by hour, so you know what to expect. Friday morning, the system is still organizing. Northern areas are already feeling brutal cold. Wind chills -40 to -50 across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin. That Arctic air is on the move. Friday afternoon and evening, precipitation begins to develop across Texas and Oklahoma. Initially, this might start as rain in some areas, but as temperatures drop through the 30s and into the freezing mark, that S when it transitions. Friday night into Saturday morning, this is the critical window for the southern plains. We're expecting the heaviest freezing rain across northern Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and northern Louisiana. The models are painting a bull's eye right over Oklahoma. Some projections show ice accumulation exceeding 1 inch. That is crippling ice, folks. That means long-term power outages. Saturday during the day, the system spreads east. Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky. These areas get into the action. For some, it is heavy snow. We are talking about snow rates that could reach 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's the kind of snow that accumulates faster than you can shovel it. But for others, especially areas just south of that snow line, it's going to be freezing rain and sleet. This is the worst case scenario. At least with snow, you have some traction. Ice is just, well, it's ice. There's no traction. There's no safe way to drive on it. Saturday night into Sunday, the storm moves into the mid-Atlantic. The Carolinas, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, this is your window. And here's something interesting that the models are showing. As this low-pressure system moves off the coast, it's going to strengthen. We call this bombogenesis in meteorology, or more commonly, a bomb cyclone. What does that mean for you? It means heavier precipitation rates. It means stronger winds. It means if you on the northern side of this system, you could see snowfall rates that are truly impressive. 2 to 3 inches per hour is not out of the question. But if you on the southern edge, you dealing with that freezing rain ramping up in intensity. Either way, travel is going to be extremely dangerous, if not impossible. Sunday into Monday, even as the storm system moves offshore, the impacts continue. Why? Because of what comes behind it. Remember that Arctic air I mentioned? It doesn't just disappear, it settles in. Monday morning, you wake up to temperatures that are going to be well below freezing across the entire impact zone. The deep south is looking at temperatures in the teens, that Fahrenheit, teens. With wind chill, it is going to feel like single digits or even below zero in some locations. What does this mean? It means that ice doesn't melt, that snow doesn't melt. It stays on the ground, it stays on the power lines, it stays on the trees. And with every hour that passes, the weight accumulates, the stress on infrastructure increases, and the likelihood of failures grows. Now, here's a question I want you to think about. How many of your neighbors are prepared for this? Because in a situation like this, community matters. Check on your elderly neighbors. Make sure they have what they need. If someone doesn't have family nearby, be that person who knocks on the door and asks if they're okay. Let me talk about the specific impacts by region, because this isn't a one-size-fits-all storm. If you are in Texas, particularly the northern counties, you're looking at significant ice accumulation Friday night into Saturday. Cities like Amarillo, Wichita Falls, areas along Interstate 40, Interstate 20, these corridors could be shut down. Not just difficult, shut down. Impassable. Oklahoma, you're in the bullseye for the worst of the ice. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, the entire state could see impacts. The governor should be declaring a state of emergency. Stock up now. Don T, wait for the declaration. Arkansas, Same story. Little Rock and areas north could see ice accumulation that brings down trees and power lines. Interstate 30, Interstate 40, these are major corridors that could be completely blocked. Louisiana, your northern parishes need to pay close attention. Shreveport and surrounding areas could see significant icing. This is not typical for you, which makes it even more dangerous. Moving east, Mississippi and Alabama, particularly the northern counties, you are dealing with a combination threat. Some areas will see heavy snow, 6 to 12 inches. Others will see freezing rain and ice. The line between the two is going to be critical, and we want to know exactly where it sets up until the storm is underway. Tennessee and Kentucky, you are looking at significant snow accumulation across much of both states. Nashville could see 8 to 12 inches. Knoxville, similar amounts. Memphis might be on that line between snow and ice, which is always the most difficult forecast. The Carolinas and Virginia, this is where that coastal low intensification comes into play. The mountains of North Carolina and Virginia could see 1 to 2 feet of snow. Charlotte might see less, but still significant. The coastal areas of the Carolinas, you might escape the worst of it, but don't let your guard down. And here is something people don't think about. After the storm passes, there is still danger. Ice-covered roads under clear skies refreeze hard overnight. Black ice becomes a major hazard. Just because the precipitation has stopped doesn't mean it's safe to travel. Let me address something important. I am not trying to scare you. Fear doesn't help anyone. What I'm trying to do is make sure you're re-informed and prepared. There's a big difference between panic and preparation. Panic is running to the store at the last minute and fighting over bread and milk. Preparation is calmly making a list today, going to the store today, and having what you need before the rush starts. Panic is waiting until Friday to think about this. Preparation is taking action right now. So what should you do right now, today, this moment? First, comment below with your location. I am going to be doing updates all week long, and I want to make sure you get specific information for your area. The more specific you are, the better I can help you. Second, make your supply list. Food, water, batteries, medications. If you take prescription medications, make sure you have enough for at least a week. Don't assume you can just run to the pharmacy on Saturday. Third, prepare your home. If you have space heaters, get them out and test them. If you have a fireplace, make sure you have wood. Clear any dead branches near your house that could fall on power lines or your roof. Fourth, prepare your vehicles. Fill up your gas tank today. Don't wait until Friday when everyone else has the same idea. If you need to travel during or after the storm, a full tank gives you options. Keep a winter emergency kit in your car. Blankets, snacks, water, a flashlight, a phone charger. Fifth, make a communication plan. If power goes out, cell towers might still work for a while, but they won't work forever if backup generators run out of fuel. Make sure your family knows how to reach each other and where to meet if you get separated. Now here is something most people don't think about. Download important documents to your phone. Insurance information, medical records, contact numbers. If you lose power and internet, you all still have access to this information. Let us talk about generators for a minute because I know a lot of you are thinking about them. If you have a generator, fantastic. Test it now. Make sure it runs. Get fuel for it. Understand how to use it safely. Never run a generator indoors or in an attached garage. Carbon monoxide poisoning is real and it is deadly. If you don't have a generator, they are going to be sold out by Friday, guaranteed. So if you can get one, don't stress about it. Focus on what you can control. Layers of clothing, blankets, ways to stay warm without electricity. Here is a pro tip. Fill your freezer with containers of water. If you lose power, those frozen containers will help keep your food cold longer. Plus, as they melt, you have drinking water. Another thing people forget. Charge everything now. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your portable chargers. Charge it all to 100% and keep it there until the storm hits. Let me show you what the different models are projecting for ice accumulation because this is really the critical factor for power outages. The Canadian model is showing areas of 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of ice accumulation across a swath from northeast Texas through Arkansas and into Tennessee. That's devastating ice. That brings down trees. That brings down power lines, that causes transformers to explode. The GFS model is showing similar amounts but with a slightly different track. Either way, we're relooking at significant icing. The European model, which often has good accuracy at this range, is showing the ice, but it's also showing that northern edge where heavy snow transitions. And that S, where we could see 1 to 2 feet of snow. Here S, the thing about forecast models. They incredibly sophisticated, but they not perfect. The exact line between snow and ice 1T be known until the storm is happening. So if you anywhere in the impact zone, prepare for the worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? For the southern plains, it's crippling ice and extended power outages. For the mid-Atlantic, it's heavy snow combined with extreme cold. Either way, it is a multi-day event that's going to disrupt normal life. Schools are going to close, businesses are going to close, travel is going to be dangerous, if not impossible. This is the kind of storm that shuts down regions for days. And remember what I said about the cold coming behind this? We are not just dealing with the precipitation event. We're dealing with sustained freezing temperatures that could last through the middle of next week. The wind chill forecast is particularly brutal. Monday morning, across the south, wind chills are forecast to be in the single digits. That is dangerous cold for an area that doesn't regularly experience it. Exposed skin can get frostbite in 30 minutes or less. If you lose power in that kind of cold, you need to have a plan. Can you go to a warming shelter? Can you go to a family member's house in a different area? Can you safely heat a single room with a fireplace or propane heater? This is the stuff you need to figure out now, not when you're sitting in a 40-degree house on Sunday night. Let me tell you about something meteorologists call the sweet spot for ice storms. It happens when you have a very specific temperature profile in the atmosphere. You need freezing temperatures at the surface but warmer air aloft. The precipitation falls as rain, stays liquid as it passes through that warm layer, then instantly freezes when it hits the frozen surface. That's what creates the glaze of ice. And the longer that condition persists, the more ice accumulates. Some models are showing this condition lasting for 12 to 18 hours in some areas. That S, how you get 3/4 of an inch to an inch of ice. I've covered winter storms for years, and I can tell you ice storms are the most dangerous type of winter weather event. They more dangerous than blizzards. They more dangerous than extreme cold because they knock out power, and power in the winter is literally a life safety issue. Elderly people, young children, people with medical conditions that require electricity, these are the folks who are most at risk. If you know someone in these categories, check on them. Make sure they have a plan. Here's another thing to consider. After an ice storm, it's not just getting the power back on. It's assessing the damage, getting crews in safely, replacing equipment. This can take days or even weeks in the worst-hit areas. I am not saying this to scare you. I am saying this so you understand the magnitude of what we are dealing with. Now let's talk about what happens after the storm, because the impacts don't end when the precipitation stops. Those freezing temperatures I mentioned, they're going to keep everything frozen on the ground. So even if your power comes back on, roads might still be impassable. Tree damage might still be occurring as ice-laden branches break off hours or days later. Schools could be closed all week, not just because of the storm itself, but because of the aftermath. Buses can run on ice-covered roads. If the school loses power, they can open even if they wanted to. Businesses will struggle to reopen. Employees can get to work. Deliveries can be made. This has economic impacts that ripple through communities. And here's something to keep in mind. Emergency services are going to be stretched thin. If you have an emergency during or after the storm, response times are going to be longer. Fire trucks, ambulances, police, they all have to deal with the same road conditions you do. That's why avoiding emergencies through preparation is so critical. Make sure your smoke detectors work. Make sure your carbon monoxide detectors work. Don't do anything risky that could result in injury. This is not the time to climb on your roof or operate a chainsaw without experience. Let me give you a day-by-day breakdown of what to do. Today, Monday or Tuesday, make your supply list and shop. Don't wait. Get non-perishable food, water, batteries, medications, pet food if you have pets, baby supplies if you have an infant. Think about what you need for a week without power. Wednesday, finalize your preparations. Test your generator if you have one. Get fuel for it. Make sure your vehicles are ready. Fill up gas tanks. Check tire pressure. If you have a battery charger, charge your car batteries. Thursday, top off any last-minute items. Charge all your devices. Fill bathtubs with water if you want that extra reserve. Move any outdoor furniture or items that could blow around in wind. Trim any dead branches that pose an immediate threat. Friday, hunker down. Don T, travel unless absolutely necessary. Stay informed. Watch the radar. Have multiple ways to get weather information. A weather radio is great if you have one. Your phone works until the power goes out. A battery-powered radio is old school but effective. Saturday through Monday, this is the impact period. Stay inside if possible. Don T, drive unless it's an emergency. Check on neighbors. Conserve battery power on your devices. If you lose power, bundle up. Close off rooms you are not using to conserve heat. After the storm, be patient. Don T, assume roads are safe just because the snow stopped. Watch for falling ice and branches. Report power outages to your utility company. Don T, approach downed power lines. Here's the thing about storms like this. They test communities, they test infrastructure, they test preparation. The communities that come through best are the ones where people help each other. So yes, prepare yourself and your family, but also think about how you can help others. Can you share your generator with a neighbor? Can you offer a warm place to someone who loses power? Can you check on elderly residents on your street? These are the things that make a difference. Now, I promised you at the beginning that I'd tell you something at the 5-minute mark that ties this all together. Here it is. This storm is dangerous not because of any one factor. It's dangerous because of the combination. The ice, the snow, the extreme cold, the duration, and the fact that it is hitting areas that Don T normally deal with this type of weather. Any one of those factors alone would be manageable. All of them together creates a compound emergency. And that is why preparation is so critical. I am going to be updating this forecast every single day this week. I am going to narrow down the exact timing. I am going to refine the snow to ice line. I am going to give you the most accurate forecast possible. But I need you to do something for me. Comment below with your city and state. Tell me where you are. That way I can make sure you are getting the information you need. And here's what I am going to do. In my next video, which I am posting tomorrow, I am going to go through specific city forecasts. I am going to break down exactly what I think each major metro area is going to see. You don't want to miss that. I am also going to show you some historical context. We're going to look at previous storms and compare them to what we were expecting, because understanding the magnitude of what's coming helps you prepare appropriately. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications because the forecast is going to evolve and you need to stay on top of it. Share this video. I know I said this at the beginning, but I am going to say it again. We are not going to reach everyone who needs this information. You can help by sharing it. Post it on Facebook, send it to your family group chat, text it to your neighbors. The more people who are prepared, the better off we all are. One more thing before I wrap up. Don T, forget about your pets. If you have outdoor animals, bring them inside or make sure they have warm shelter. Fresh water that 1T freeze, extra food, they read, depending on you. This storm is coming. That's not in question. The models are too consistent. The atmospheric setup is too clear. It's happening. What is in question is how prepared you're going to be. And that's entirely in your control. Take action today. Make your list. Shop for supplies. Prepare your home. Check on your neighbors. Charge your devices. Do these things and you are going to be fine. You are going to be uncomfortable maybe, inconvenienced definitely, but you are going to be safe. And that is what matters. Remember, drop your location in the comments. I am reading all of them. I am going to use that information to tailor tomorrow's update. And one final thought. We've been through storms before. Communities always come together. People always help each other. That is going to happen again this time. So yes, prepare, be ready, but also have faith that we are going to get through this together. Stay safe, everyone. More updates coming tomorrow. And remember, the most detailed city-by-city breakdown is coming in the next